Hello, welcome to another podcast of Master Investors Company. Glad to be here on another one. Today's theme is going to be called The Power of Investing in and Through Business Today. The best investments start with knowing how business works. That's why we are going to be speaking a lot about business when we speak about investing, because if we don't know how to do business, then we're going to be poor investors and basically average investors. Okay, we want to be inside investors when it comes down to building wealth. An inside investor is someone that knows how to read financial statements, someone that knows the difference between an asset and liability, someone that can tell when an investment can be scalable and something that can use some leverage, etc. There are many things that makes an inside investor or a master investor, right? So the power of investing, oftentimes people understand the power found in the word investing, and many want to enjoy that power for themselves. But the interesting thing that we also have people afraid of this power because they are afraid of what they don't know, okay? Lack of knowledge is the fastest way to poverty because it does not take money to make money. It takes knowledge, the right financial education, and that's what Master Investor is here to do, okay? Our financial department is specifically catered to providing high quality financial education made simple, okay? So I'm gonna also leave a blog post link below that can also give you some more data about this topic. We usually write a blog and then we do a video blog and then we do a podcast of that blog, okay? So this is coming from the blog that I'm also going to leave on the description. Make sure you share, like, and comment. So instead of running from the power or condemning it by saying such things as the rich exploit the poor, or investing is risky, or I'm not interested in becoming rich, we should become curious and learn how easy we can make money work hard for us and escape the rat race. A lot of people go to a job that they hate for a very long time because they don't know how to escape that rat race term that we call, okay? It's going to a job trading time for money and not knowing how to build wealth so that they can either break free from that job and live their life through their passions. And so we want to help you and help those who are in need to break free from the rat race. And if you're already free from the rat race, then we are here to build more wealth for you, to build the asset column of your financial statement, okay? So stay with me. The desire to acquire the power found in investing is what's going to set us free, and it's going to help us learn about investing more and more, okay? So how can we afford this? Standing for a second and thinking about all your living expenses, you have to know exactly how much money you're spending every single month. That's why it's important to read a financial statement, your own financial statement. We all have a personal financial statement. The businesses and the investment also have a financial statement. That's why it's critical to learn how to read one, because that way we know when something is a good or a bad investment, because we know the story of the investment. Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is to learn how to read a financial statement, and I'm gonna show you super simple to do. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below. Make sure that you subscribe to all of our social media accounts at Master Investor, specifically Instagram. We provide a lot of free information there so that you can tap into every single day. We're coming out with a new app as well, and there's a new book coming out next month. We're going to release it in December. It's titled How to Create Cash Flow from the Internet, subtitle Turn Passive Income On, because the most important words in the business language, I want you to understand this, is cash flow. Those are the most important words. Cash flow, because that's the blood of the business. That's the blood of any successful, wealthy person. If there are no sales, then there's no cash flow. And no investor or bank institution will ever want to invest in something that has no promise of cash flow or has no cash flow at all to this day. Oftentimes, they want to see some sort of cash flow before they even invest any money in it. They want to see that, hey, people are buying what we are offering, and we just need to leverage some things and we need to scale it up in order to get to the next level financially. And that's when they usually invest, when they see a track record of cash flow, okay? So the business of investing. We ultimately invest in business. If you invest in stocks, you invest in business. If you buy a piece of real estate, such as an apartment building, that is a business. If you buy a bond, you are also investing in a business. Logically, it follows that if you want to be a great investor, or I should say an inside investor, you first need to be good at and understand business. Number two, the best way to invest is to have your business buy your investments. A lot of times, the poor people and the average individual, whether the individual is middle class or not, someone that is uneducated financially, usually attempts to buy their assets or invest money after they pay everybody else first. In other words, they have little or not money left to acquire any investments, okay? And remember, there's no need to have money to make money, but that takes a high level of financial IQ and intelligence to be able to acquire and put a deal together so that we can raise capital. Because the number one job of an entrepreneur is to raise capital, and the number one job of an investor is to raise capital, right? So the number one skill is to sell. So when we combine those together, we can actually raise any type of capital. But a lot of times we need to start with our own money. We need to start building our own asset column. We need to start building maybe our own product. And I'm going to show you exactly how we can start doing so, okay? But we first need to understand the logic behind why it's important to have our own business buy our investments and allow the business to pay for those investments and acquire assets with our business. So if you don't have a company today, then I encourage you to launch your company. It doesn't matter if you don't know all the answers, but what you need to do is get yourself a company, an LLC or a C corporation, but get yourself incorporate, okay? Because it will be your best decision. You can also start building credit with that. I'm going to show you how to do that. So the worst way to invest is as an individual. That's why I'm telling you, get yourself a company. The most successful investors in the world buy their investments through their businesses, and the really successful ones create investments through their businesses that others want to purchase. The difference between those who invest through businesses and those who don't. If anyone wants a job security, then follow most and poor people's advice. If we want to be wealthy, we need to follow master investors' advice. The difference between a wealthy investment plan and the poor's investment plan. A master investor LLC, our business buys assets, pre-tax dollars. And I also have a diagram to show you where it has an income statement. It's part of the financial statement, and it says income column, and it has an expense column. And it shows that number one, we have assets as an expense, and then number two, we pay taxes. In other words, we first focus on buying assets, and hopefully we have our company that is then we're putting the money into our company as working capital, and we're buying the asset. Instead of how the poor person will do it, would be they have the income, right, and then they'll have a job, and then they go, their first expenses pay taxes, and then number two is buy assets. That's how it will look on the diagram that I have on the blog post. But it's very easy to see the differences between the mindset and why the poor are poor and why the wealthy keeps getting wealthier, because it's the way we do business, is the way we acquire assets, okay? So when you invest through a business, you play by different rules. The point is that even though we live in a free country, not everybody plays by the same rules. The rich have laws of their own that allows them to become wealthier. A lot of times as an employee, you end up paying taxes, and you end up, without 50% of your income will be spent before they could even invest. So you have no or little money to invest, basically nothing. As a business owners, we are able to buy assets through our business and then pay taxes on what income is left over. We buy our assets first and pay our taxes later, legally, and by following the business law, which is available to all regardless of how wealthy or not we are. It doesn't matter if you have $0 today, you can build your own company, you can incorporate with a few $100s or $100 and some dollars, depends on the state in which you live in, and then also start building from there. But you don't need a lot of money to start being an entrepreneur or start your investing career the right way. And remember, it's about be, do, have. Be the investor that you want to be, do, and have. And so I want you to understand that. Like, you don't have to, have millions of dollars to say that you're an investor. You can start with zero money. That's your career. So it's okay to start with nothing. All the big investors started with nothing, and oftentimes they went broke many times, and they went back up because they had to learn several lessons that they didn't know, unless they actually went broke. Okay, a master investor, we pay our taxes on net income. Most people in the poor pay taxes on their gross and then tries to buy assets with what is left. In many occasions, there's not much left. Because of that, it is very, very hard for them to achieve any kind of wealth and financial freedom, right? And financial freedom is when we break free from the rat race, when we have an asset or assets that produce passive income, which is the income that comes in whenever we're not working. We don't have to be present to create that income that exceeds our living expenses. So that's what's important to write down and know exactly how much is your living expenses, your rent, your food, your gas, your everything that you're paying today, your cell phone. Put it all together. What's that number? And pin down that number, because that is the breaking point. That's when you will become financially free, when we reach that in passive income or exceeds that in passive income, and then we can start building wealth from there. Wealth is not measured in dollars, but it's measured in time. How much time do we have without doing anything, without working, and still be able to live the way we want to live and the way we've been living, okay? So if our living expense is $10,000, then how long do we have? How many months, how many years, how many decades do we have if we don't do anything and we can continue to live our life, okay? That's very important. Also, I presented the cash flow quadrant, which is possess, 4 quadrants. And the first one on your left is the E. It stands for employee. That means you have a job. The S is underneath the employee. It's on the left quadrant on the bottom. Self-employed stands for, the S stands for self-employed, which owns a job. You own a job. And then if you don't work, you don't get paid. And that is called active income, trading time for money. Okay. The world's population is usually 90% are in the left side of the quadrant and 10% are in the right side of the quadrant. The world's wealth is 10% on this left side of the quadrant and then 90% on the right side of the quadrant. So on the right side of the quadrant, the right top quadrant right next to the E quadrant is the B quadrant, and that stands for business owner. Own systems that work for us even when we do not. Okay, we don't work, we still get paid. Underneath the B quadrant, on the right side of the quadrant, right bottom, is the inside investor. Is the letter I, stands for inside investor. It's not just any type of investor. It's an inside investor specifically because it's someone that knows, like I said earlier in the podcast, how to read a financial statement, how to tell the difference between an asset and liability. Understand good debt and bad debt. Good debt puts money in our pocket, and bad debt takes money out of our pocket. Good debt gets paid with somebody else's money and time, with OPM and OPT, other people's money and other people's time. We got to learn how to master those, okay? But good debt exists. It's not about just getting out of debt. A lot of people are here out there in the market talking about get out of debt, get out of debt. Not all debt is bad. So they teaching people how to be afraid of debt. Debt can be two sides, right? There's good and then there's bad. If we acquired a credit card and now we incorporate our business, and now that business brings us enough money to pay that debt back to the bank without us working, then that's good debt. We put that money to work. It's all about allocating the money to produce money and multiply. So we got to learn how to multiply our money, okay? So I'm going to leave the link below of the blog post so that you can read it. But most importantly, understand that it's all about having a business that buys and invests in businesses and acquire investments, okay, through our business, not as an individual, okay? The average and the poor invest as an individual with their after the leftovers after they pay everybody else, okay? They pay taxes first, and then they attempt to buy assets with very little money, okay, which gives them no leverage. And then on top of that, they don't have any experience. They haven't educated themselves because they've been working so hard at somebody else's dream, at somebody else's job, right? Somebody else's system, that they are unaware of how to build wealth. So they're really wasting a lot of time, okay? So I hope you like this podcast. Subscribe to the channel and follow us on all platforms at Master Investor, bringing you the good and bad news of money, the business principles that work in all economies. And our mission here at Master Investors Financial Department is to elevate the financial well-being of our partners. Thank you for being part of our community, and I'll talk to you or see you on the next one, okay? Ensure you check out the blog so you can see the diagrams and get a better picture of the financial statements and how the poor and most people invest, and how the wealthy invest, and how Master Investor invests. We always are aligned with the ultra wealthy, okay? So let us know your feedback, and thank you for having me again. Bye for now.